You had kind of a moment, right? Like an encounter. Yeah. Can you tell us about that? I know it has to do with your faith and with God. What happened?
Oh my God, it was so powerful. So when you think you've like done a lot of work, there's always more.
Yes,
there's always more to do.
Exactly.
And I think it was God shaking me and said, you're ready for what I have next for you. And so he spoke to me one night, and I just closed my eyes and I was just sitting in my bed, and I was just sitting there in silence. And he basically showed me my future, and it was so beautiful. And I saw my husband, I saw my house, I saw so many beautiful things. And then I started crying because he was showing me what I can have, but then he was showing me that I'm not going to get this if I continued to live the way that I was living. And the way that I was living was without him.
Wow.
So that the very next day, I literally went on the beach because that's where I really ground myself. And I was like, I'm committed. I am committed. And since then, 7/7/23.
Wow.
He has been opening so many doors for me. And I want to cry thinking about it, because it's like,
I love this. It's powerful.
He's amazing. And it's like, he's so forgiving. And this whole time, he's been protecting my son and I, even when I didn't know it, understand it, or believe in him. And the crazy part is that he's always had a relationship with my son. I would put him in Christian school because I knew there was an importance with that.
Wow.
Because if my son doesn't have a father, at least he needs a heavenly father. So I knew like and he would go to church every weekend. I didn't. I would stay home. I would mostly sleep because I would be working so much.
Yeah.
And my son was non-judgmental, and my son's godmother that came into our lives was non-judgmental, and she would basically say, you'll come when you're ready. You'll be ready. And I was like, yeah, okay. And then it wasn't until really recently I realized, oh, I'm ready.
It's amazing what happens, I think, when you surrender, and so many people, I feel like, struggle with letting go of, some of the things that like we all hold on and we wrestle, with that. Everybody's got something, right? It could be food, could be alcohol, could be sex, drugs, whatever it is. And we hold on so bad. And it's like, but it's until we really let go and completely surrender and just almost like cry uncle, then God can come in and take over and has all of us. And then it's like you're struggling, but then once you give in to it, he comes and he just, like you said, he embraces you. There's no judgment. He's a father. It's like, finally, my daughter, my son has come home. It says in the Bible, it talks about that prodigal that came home, and he puts a robe around you and a ring on your finger and a crown. And then look what happens. I mean, in your own life, it's like you got aligned back with your Father in heaven, and then all of these doors start opening for you, right, in your life. And now you're sharing, you're helping more people, you're using your story to empower women and just people all over. And I think it's just absolutely amazing what God has done in and through your life, and how you're at a place now to give back. Let's talk about some of the things that, I think you went through all this pain, but now you're at a place where you found your purpose, and through the pain, you really want to give back. You want to be a light in the world, in your community. What are you doing? What are some of the things that you're doing right now and wanting to do to give back and to help?
We're going to hold that thought really quick, because there's something I want to add to the last thing you said, because I think this is really important for people to hear. When I recently recommitted to God, it wasn't because I hit rock bottom. And I think that's really important for people to hear, because yes, people surrender to him when they hit rock bottom. That wasn't the case for me. It wasn't until things were great for me. But I felt like I was stuck. And I'm just like, I'm doing a lot of the things that I know I should be doing. I'm in a really good place, best financially, emotionally, mentally, even physically. But I can't seem to get over this plateau, you know? And then that's when he spoke to me, and he basically pushed me off the cliff. I was like, "You're ready, let's go." So I think that's so important.
That is important.
Because it could be in any place in your life that you could accept him and surrender to him. It doesn't have to be when you are rock bottom at your worst. It could be when things are going so great, but you just can't seem to figure out why it's not like you know there's more, but you just can't seem to figure it out. It's because your relationship
really
with God.
good.
Yeah.
Really good point. I'm glad you made that.
Yeah.
So Kayla, now that you've experienced all of this, you've gone through the pain, you're finding your purpose, and you're wanting to give back. What are some of the projects you're working on now, and what are you wanting to do?
Oh my gosh, I have such a long list, but I'm doing a lot more, like speaking on stages, and then along with my coaching, and also gonna write a book.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
That's in the works.
Yep.
And then a movie.
Love it.
Which is huge.
Love it.
And then opening up a women's shelter.
Love
because coming from someone that used to live in shelters, I found that there was a lot of flaws. And the flaws were basically, you come in, you do your chores, you have a curfew, you follow the rules, and then, your time is up and you go into the real world. So what ends up happening is these girls or women are not being taught real life lessons and working through their mental issues.
Yeah.
So, mental illnesses. I don't want to say issues because it's not an issue. It's just an illness that you have to work through.
Sure.
So teaching women how to manage money, get a mortgage on a home, like doing things that are actually going to allow you to make it in the real world. Because I've seen too many women come back in the shelters, and there's that flaw that is missing from the system that I'm going to come in and change.
I love that.
Yeah.
And that's one of the main reasons that when you and I sat, at the beginning and we were talking about working together, that I said, I really want to get behind you and what you're doing because, like I said, you're more than a pretty face, and you have a great heart, and you really want to make a difference. And especially when I heard about what you want to do, taking your story, writing about it, writing a book that can empower women, inspire women, you're coaching, you're trying to help people, but also, doing a movie, and that's going to really be inspiring. But then opening a shelter, I think for women would be so incredible. And I know I would be honored to be a part of this journey with you, and I'm excited.